Hello, this is Gregory Ramirez, and this tutorial is an introduction to the literary genre of poetry, which is sometimes referred to as verse so as to distinguish it from prose, such as fiction and nonfiction. The purpose of this tutorial is to help you to understand the components within poetry better, as well as to help with interpretation and analysis. First of all, it would be worthwhile to ponder the question, what do people in general think when they hear the word poetry? Then, follow this with the question, what do you think when you hear the word poetry? My guess is that some of you might be saying such things to yourself as, I hate it, or I don't understand it, or I like reading books better. If this is the case, I don't want to make it sound as though something is wrong with you. For many years, I myself felt the same way about poetry. I got to a point, however, where I concluded that poetry is an acquired taste. If we think about songs on the radio that have lyrics, for example, my guess is that you don't like every song that airs, and there is no reasonable expectation that you would or should. Even if you think of an album from one of your favorite musicians, chances are there are about 12 to 14 songs on that album, and you probably don't enjoy playing every single song. In fact, you may skip over certain songs so as to get to one or two that you really enjoy. I would say the same thing goes for any reader of a poem of books from an individual. In older poems, you will probably notice not only stylistic differences, such as more archaic words and phrases, but also the use of rhyme and meter to adhere to the conventions of a specific form, such as sonnets or villanelles. Contemporary poems, on the other hand, usually do not contain rhyme, and using such is discouraged in creative writing courses. The poems, however, will still contain a rhythm, usually from, for example, alliteration. Contemporary poems will also usually emphasize imagery and therefore appeal to the five senses. The best advice I received when taking a poetry class as a college student was to pretend as if I were writing a scene. Therefore, you will find many contemporary poets doing such in order to make you experience what it is they in turn are writing and addressing. Also, contemporary poets are more diverse from those who make up the traditional literary canon. As a result, not only do you see more poets who are women or people of color or identify as LGBT, but you will also find a wider range of subject matter that were unexplored or considered taboo. Finally, while reading poetry, consider doing the following. First of all, read it aloud, either to yourself or listen to someone else read it. In some cases, you may be able to find audio recordings of the poets reading their own work. Such websites as YouTube or the Academy of American Poets would be good places to start if you were not originally given the links. I would also encourage you to focus on the diction and tone. In other words, what words does the poet choose? Consider the connotation and denotation of these words. And how would the poet sound if he or she were reading this aloud? Again, hearing an audio recording of the poet would help with determining this. Finally, be mindful of historical and cultural context. This may affect not simply the subject matter, but such as a specific historical event the poet chooses to focus on, but also the meaning for certain words and phrases. Consider, for example, how the word awful once meant something excellent, something that will make a person be full of awe. Nowadays, the word awful has a negative connotation, meaning something bad or terrible. We're more likely to use the word awesome instead to to describe something we think is excellent. If there are any additional questions, please feel free to contact me either by email at gregory.ramirez@scccd.edu or by calling me at area code 559-675-4832.